I, 35 female, regret marrying my husband, 34 male. How to get past this? I made the mistake of a lifetime. I grew up in a household where my parents fought a lot. During my doctoral years in graduate school, I was in a stable 4-year relationship with a doctor that felt perfect. My ex was loving, funny, generous, kind, and had very strong character and a similar internal value system. We never fought. I was happy, fulfilled, motivated, secure, and overall a better, stronger person with him by my side. I remember looking at him while he was driving once and thinking, man, he will be such a good dad one day. The segment in my life with him was happy, but looking back, it also felt alien. I had never been in such a stable relationship before. I didn't grow up like that. I had never been this supported or happy. I didn't know how good I had it. However, our sex life wasn't great to non-existent. At the end of our relationship, I ended up moving away for a highly competitive, once-in-a-lifetime job offer. While away, I cheated on him, and we are no longer together. I cheated on him with my husband. My husband and I met because we shared a similar passion for trail running and ultramarathons. We loved being outdoors, and having someone by my side in such a niche sport felt special. I overlooked the fact that he only graduated from high school and was, and still is, making minimum wage while I make 6 figures. I was young and thought that love would prevail. I started to see cracks in our relationship as time went on. While I was working hard and putting in overtime to save up for a house, he would disappear for days on camping trips, leaving me to take care of household chores and our dog. We fought over so many little things and had countless communication issues. We do not communicate well or resolve conflict effectively. I noticed our sense of humor didn't always align. For example, there was a time I questioned whether he was racist because of jokes he made with his friends, and it really bothered me. But I was in my 20s then and thought I needed to make this work. I later learned that there is guilt from cheating, and oftentimes you feel like you need to end up with a person to make it feel right. So, we got married and now have a baby. After having a baby, our differences and conflicting values have been amplified. After marrying, he took an expensive career change, which I am funding. He comes home from work tired and sometimes needs to study after work or on weekends. When he's not studying, he lies in bed on his phone, instead of spending time with me or our baby. He says he needs to decompress. He is always on his phone, whereas I've cut down on screen time for our baby. He says his career comes first, even though it doesn't pay much compared to mine. He says that when he gets a chance, he is going to move our family out of state to advance his career. I told him I do not want that because we have grandparents, good schools, and a strong community here for our child. He does nearly zero of childcare throughout the week. On weekends, he may have 15 to 30-minute play sessions with our baby, but it's always spontaneous, on his time, and I never know how much free time I'll have before he says I need to get back to studying. So it's hard for me to get things done or run errands out of the house. Despite being very absent as a parent, he is very opinionated about raising our baby, and everything seems to be my fault, according to him. It's not a pleasant experience. He threatens me with more workload. If I complain about his absence as a dad while he's playing with our baby, he leaves the room and says, I'm playing with him for you. If you're not grateful, I need to get back to work. Similarly, I did all of our taxes as always, and he offered to help mail the packet. When I complained that he forgot to attach the W-2s and missed other things, he said it was too complicated and went to bed, never even thanked me for doing our taxes, leaving me to finish the task he offered to help with. He is entitled. For example, he saved $0 for the down payment on our home, yet our home needed to have a 3-car garage, and he needed an extra room for a music studio, which he never uses now. Yes, I wanted to be a good partner and conceded to his demands, and now I feel resentful. I also feel resentful when I see friends who married their classmates now living in nice, safe, highly sought-after neighborhoods in beautiful homes, or owning 2 or 3 homes, while we've had to make compromises because I'm the sole breadwinner. Our educational level differences also show in our conversations. He doesn't seem to look into global or political issues deeply or empathetically. He has no interest in doing or learning how to do conflict resolution. It also appears that he is too insecure to apologize. After knowing him for 8 years and countless arguments, he has only apologized once or twice to me, while I apologize after nearly every argument. He is always tired. One morning outing to the park, and he needs to be in bed for 3 hours, 2 hours on his phone, and 1 hour napping. Yes, I know money and income and education aren't everything. I know this may be my fate, karma from cheating on my good ex. I'm just feeling lost and alone. I'm wondering, I don't know, if anyone has any advice, if things will get better, or how I can move past this. Do you think I made a mistake? Thank you for reading. Sorry, but your last point is so funny. You think your ultramarathon running partner is exhausted by going to the park? The truth is, he just doesn't want to spend time with you and the baby, just like how you don't really enjoy your conversations with him. You both resent each other. I ran 26 miles and feel great. 2 weeks later, wow, an hour at the park watching 2 squirrels going at it wore me out. Right? I don't even know where to start here, lol. She cheated and is now complaining about her new guy. She made her bed and now should lay in it. This is the nothing is ever enough perfect example. She'll never be totally happy with a guy and will probably cheat on this guy with a richer guy soon enough. Guaranteed. It's been 8 years of this, and you still think things are going to get better? Has it gotten better? No. Will it get better? No. What makes you stay? It can't be the child he never spends time with. You've made one mistake in marrying him, but you can still get a divorce. You don't have to live your life stuck with him. Please get therapy. The good relationship felt alien to you because it's not the version of love you grew up seeing, so it felt alien. Then you met and cheated with your husband, who is familiar to you. He is basically your dad. You repeated the cycle, but now that you've identified it, I suggest therapy to help you break out. Individual therapy, not couples. I know you don't have the time, but you need to carve out the time for therapy. That's crazy that the new guy treats you horribly, and you are completely loyal to him. And the ex who treated you perfectly, you cheated without hesitation. Advice? Be divorced and move on, I suppose. You'll probably have to pay your husband's spousal support as you make more. Thank you for pointing that out. This is no excuse, but I think my situation is familiar. My mom was the sole breadwinner in our family, and my dad never appreciated it and always put her down. I somehow subconsciously sought the same thing. I hate it and need to learn how to break out. Next story. My fiancé made a split-second decision that has cost me a year of my life. And I'm furious. Plus update. Original post. I, 26 female, my fiancé 30 male, and his son, 5 years old, were out getting Chipotle on March 14th. On the way home, we reached a busy intersection with a blinking yellow light. My fiancé was driving, and I could tell he was about to go. I saw a car coming fast, and I very clearly told him to wait until the light was green. I don't know if he didn't hear me, didn't take me seriously, or just ignored me. But he kept driving forward anyway, and we got T-boned by a car going 50 miles per hour. Everyone else walked away fine, including his son, thank God, but I was crushed. I ended up with 2 full breaks in my pelvis, 2 fractures in my tailbone, fractures in my L4 and L5 vertebrae, and a fractured sternum. In so much pain I can't even explain it. I wouldn't wish this kind of pain on anyone. I was rushed to the ER, where everything was a complete blur, except the trauma. I started having intense flashbacks, panic attacks, and nightmares about the crash and the pain. I had to undergo surgery, where 2 7-inch steel screws were inserted into my pelvis. At the hospital, they gave me a back brace that was way too big for me. The nurses and PTs even admitted they didn't measure and just guessed my size. Even when we told them it was too big, they didn't do anything about it. And despite this, they expected me to stand up and move around wearing it. That brace did nothing for support. Moving in it felt like my spine and pelvis were being ripped apart. The pain I was in trying to follow their orders to stand and walk was inhumane. All I remember from those days is pain, frustration, fear, and this overwhelming sense of helplessness. After about a week, I was transferred to a physical rehabilitation center. I didn't want to eat. I didn't want to bathe. I didn't want to move. I was so depressed and in so much pain that even thinking about shifting in bed made me cry. I had to depend on strangers for the most basic things: going to the bathroom, bathing, even feeding myself. As someone who's always been independent, it was utterly humiliating and devastating. I'm home now, but my recovery is far from over. Doctors and physical therapists all told me the same thing. You have the second worst kind of break anyone can experience. You'll need at least a year to recover, if not longer. You can't put weight on your right leg for 3 months. No bending, no twisting. And even after the 3 months, it'll be a very slow process. And that's the part that's eating me alive. Because before this, I was finally getting my life together. I was working on my health. I was eating right, doing CrossFit regularly, getting stronger, and finally meeting people and socializing. I had just gone back to college. I was finally building structure into my life after being recently diagnosed with ADHD. And now, it's all on hold. I can't work out. I can't leave the house unless it's for a doctor's appointment. I can't do anything by myself. And it feels like I lost everything I was working so hard to build. And even though my fiancé has been supportive through all of this and is helping take care of me, I'm so angry at him. I told him. I warned him. I said, don't go. Wait. And when I asked him why he kept going, he just said, I don't know. And that I don't know is now costing me an entire year of my life. Maybe more. And I'm the one who's paying for it every single day. So yeah, I just needed to get this off my chest. I feel trapped in my own body. I feel like I'm grieving the life I could have had this year. I feel angry, sad, helpless, and I'm just trying to make sense of it all. But mostly, I just want my life back. I know this is temporary. I know I'll eventually recover. But losing a year of my life, my sense of normalcy, and my peace of mind is really, really rough. If anyone has any advice on how I can work on this, or maybe even share their own experiences similar to this one, I'd greatly appreciate it. Now for the top comments before reading the update. That would be a deal breaker for me. The way I'd be making him take care of me and then moving on as soon as I recover. Especially since they're still not married yet. It's an easier break if they aren't married. I have a permanent spinal injury. I can move and walk just fine on the good days. But on the bad days, I need crutches just to go to the loo. I am so sorry to say this, but this is not just a year. This is a lifetime injury that you are going to have to deal with. You know what got me through mine? What keeps me going? Knowing that I can trust the people around me, good days or bad. Please seriously think about whether 5 or 10 years down the line, you'll be able to trust your fiancé. Or is the distrust and anger, which you have every right to feel, going to fester inside you and make those bad days 100 times worse when you look at him? Now, this is the most important part. You will get through this. I absolutely believe that. I remember the day I accepted that I was going to get through it because I was able to walk down to the tattoo shop near me, stand in line for 4 hours, and get a Friday the 13th tattoo to celebrate just being able to walk. You have a long road ahead of you, sister. Just know you aren't alone. Give me a shout if you want to vent. Now for the update. I honestly didn't expect my post to receive this much attention. I was just venting my thoughts and emotions in the moment, as I'm still going through the stages of grief. Thank you to everyone who took the time to share their thoughts, advice, and support regarding my situation. I want to clear up a few things and provide some additional context, including my fiancé's perspective on why he didn't stop. To start, for those wondering where the accident happened, since the rules around blinking yellow lights seem to vary depending on the state, city, and even country, it took place in Texas, within the Dallas-Fort Worth area. That's all I'll share location-wise for privacy reasons. Next, a lot of people have asked whether my fiancé has shown remorse and how he's been supporting me since the accident. The answer is yes, he's been devastated. He has apologized to me multiple times. At the crash site, in the hospital, during rehab, and at home. He's also been having panic attacks lately, something he's never experienced prior to the accident. There was one moment where he called me panicking because he couldn't find his truck keys and desperately wanted to come see me to make sure I was okay. My mom had to drive over to calm him down and help. He also continued to visit me frequently in the hospital and at the rehab center, and he's been advocating for me when I had issues, such as the back brace I was given, which was clearly too large. Side note, despite multiple people from my family, fiancé, and even the PTs mentioning it, the hospital staff didn't replace it. It wasn't until I called the hospital a week later, frustrated, that they finally took action. I had to put on my Karen voice and explain that their failure to properly size the brace was actively hindering my recovery. Eventually, I got a new one in a smaller size. Fun fact, the brace only comes in 2 sizes, small to medium and large to extra large. I'll let you guess which one they gave me. My fiancé has also been helping me understand the insurance claim process. From what we know, I may be looking at around $100,000. Additionally, at home, he's made sure I have what I need to recover. He just bought me a $300 plus bed frame that moves up and down, similar to the hospital beds I was used to, because I can't move up and down normally without feeling pain or being at risk of re-breaking something. He's also been cooking for me and for my visiting family, helping me clean up, assisting with daily tasks, and has made it clear he doesn't expect me to lift a finger. He only wants me to focus on healing. He's even told me he's going to halt his plans to expand his side business so that he can spend more time tending to me during my recovery. With this said, I've seen a lot of comments saying I should leave him or even sue him, calling him arrogant or careless. I can understand those reactions and thoughts. However, looking back at how everything happened, this was an honest mistake that anyone could make at any time of day, at any point in life. Was it a bad mistake? Yes. But nonetheless, a simple human error at the end of the day. I'm just angry that it happened to me, but that is something I will have to work through on my own. Regarding the "I don't know" reply that he gave me a week earlier, I will admit he may have still been experiencing shock or trauma when I initially asked him. At the time, when I brought up the question, his mind seemed to draw a blank. Now that I'm home and some time has passed, I went ahead and asked him the same question again today. Why didn't you stop when I told you to? He told me he thought the gap between us and the oncoming car was big enough to make it. He didn't realize how close it actually was. He also said he didn't hear me say stop until it was too late, at which point we were already hit. I told him I said it much earlier, and he admitted he just didn't hear me. In the end, he feels horrible. He's told me that every time he approaches a yellow light while driving now, he can't help but be reminded of what happened that night and how stupid he feels for not being more cautious. I'm not excusing what happened by any means, but I do believe he's learning from it and taking accountability for everything as best he can. I'm just the angry, bitter one who needs to work through my emotions and grief stemming from the accident. That said, I've resumed individual therapy, weekly now instead of monthly, and I had my first session since the accident as of yesterday. My fiancé and I will also be attending couples counseling together. Yes, I plan on staying with him. I know a lot of you are coming from a place of concern and care, and I truly appreciate that. At the same time, I want to gently remind everyone that I'm a real person going through a very real and painful experience. What I shared was raw and vulnerable, not a call to be judged or attacked. It's okay to disagree with how I'm choosing to move forward, but please remember, I'm the one living this day by day. Healing, both physical and emotional, isn't linear, and I'm doing the best I can. Thank you again for the overwhelming response. I'm reading as many comments as I can, even if I can't reply to everyone. Please continue to take care of yourselves and those you love. Hold anyone you care about closely, because when you least expect it, life can change in an instant.